Okay, so next up on the stage, everybody, is Gail Sussman-Miller. And she calls herself the Chief Obstacle Buster at her company, which is Inspired Choice. All right, everybody, eyes here, eyes here, eyes here. Let me see you. Right here. Thank you. Let's give full attention to our next CAM talk. Gail works with executives to turn career obstacles into opportunities. She also calls herself wait, this is good, I liked it, a midlife bloomer. A midlife bloomer, baby boomer, because at 41, she took on coaching, she got married for the first time, and she became a stepmom. So please welcome to the stage, Gail Sussman-Miller.
Make sure that works first. I'll keep talking. You guys keep listening. All right, excellent. So the clock is ticking. I am hugging the heck out of all of you and calming myself at the same time. Let's start by receiving 3 breaths together, and it's an interesting thing I learned from my rabbi. Not giving, but receiving 3 breaths on the inhale. Okay, that was mostly for me. All right, so Eric, I want you to listen for a moment. So, if in the next 15 minutes I could teach you a way to ask for help with greater ease by taking yourself out of the formula, would you be interested? Yes. All right. That's what I'm going to do. So I realized when I got ready for this talk that asking is inherent in so many ways. Our CAM organizers wrote to all of us and asked us, would you like to give a CAM talk? I wrote back and said, would you consider my proposal? I'm asking you to listen to me for the next 13 minutes, and you're asking me at 10 to 5 on a Thursday to please make it interesting. So there's a lot of asking. So you know how some coaches find it hard to ask for help, to ask for what they need? Now I realize this is a room of master coaches, so I'm sure it's not any of you in the room. So just think about a friend who's a coach or your clients. So what happens is you don't speak up. You might hint at things. You might go without and be resentful and angry that you have so much on you. So the ways this could show up is not asking for introductions to really powerful people who could bring you into their company. You might not ask for the fees you deserve. You might not ask prospects to hire you. You might have clients who don't ask to get promoted. So what happens? Careers that aren't so happy, businesses that aren't so happy, and possibly lost fees and stress and worry. So what I'm going to teach you is a technique that I first discovered for myself to create a shift in that thinking and to help it be a lot easier for you to ask for whatever it is you want. I have taught this to executives who are in job search, C-level, VP, directors, who are in the most vulnerable state in their life, unemployed, and so afraid to ask. So imagine now if it was easier for you to ask, that you might now start to see opportunities, ask for opportunities, to speak up, to help others, and to show up, more bravely showing up, speaking up, and moving up. So you should have in your hand an index card. Take that index card, and I'd like you to ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is highest, how comfortable are you with asking for help? 10, you're really comfortable asking, and it's just asking for what you need, asking for help. Maybe it's your business, maybe it's personal life. If you're a 1, you'd rather volunteer for a root canal than ask somebody. Underneath that, I want you to write down the name of someone whom you have wanted to ask for help, but have not asked. someone that maybe is kind of influential who could help your business, someone maybe that you've met here already that you have been avoiding asking. Underneath that, I'd like you to write down what you would ask for. We just pretty specifically worked on some of this. So, you've got the 1 to 10, who you would ask and what you would ask. I'm told that these are now safe markers. Okay, because I have on white pants. All right, that one actually didn't open. So let's try this guy. All right. So create a little chart for yourself on your card, and on the left I want you to write the words me and put self in parentheses. So especially my folks who may have answered a 5 or lower on that 1 to 10 scale, what is it that you make up in your head that the other person will think if you ask them for something? What is your fear of asking, or what's the message you hear in your head? How does it feel to ask? Can I get 2 or 3 volunteers? That they'll take advantage of you if you ask them for help? Okay. Someone else? Okay. Okay. Okay, that's good. They'll say no. Not worthy. Okay, and I'm going to add to this from my experience that some people feel needy, greedy. It's all about me, help me make money. And my favorite, that it can appear selfish. All right, so now go back to your cards. And I want to ask you to write down. Okay. All right. And so now I want you to write down, if you were granted this wish and they said yes, who would benefit besides you? Who would benefit besides you? Just write that down on your card. But you're ahead of me. Yes, that's exactly where it's going. So on the second side of the column, I want you to write the word others. And you can put down who your beneficiaries are. So now I want you to shift to asking for the sake of others, those others, how would it feel to ask that same person for help? 1 or 2 volunteers. Renee. What? How would you feel asking? How will you feel asking for the sake of this population?
Feel really terrific about themselves.
Okay, so you make them feel good. Okay, Mike, I saw you raise your hand.
Less selfish, more of a reason, more permission to ask, and to ask for bigger.
Okay. And you know what's so cool? If we come away from selfish, we get to selfless. And for me, there was this incredible realization about this, and it really was an epiphany, that it was like I had a mission. I had a cause. I have this bus. Get on my bus for 10 minutes. If you could help introduce me to this person, just join me on this mission. I had this cause, and it was like credibility. Like, how can I not ask? I've got these people waiting for me to help them. So I want you to take yourself out of the formula. I actually believe that it's really not about us anyway. That your talents are not completely yours, and that you are a conduit for passing through this gift to these other people. So I want to tell you a couple ways that I've used this, quite literally. Let's say I was writing to Mike Jaffe and saying, Mike, would you please help me And then I go, that's the old side. Backspace, backspace. Mike, will you help connect me with executives who are not taking action or afraid to ask and who could have happier lives for the sake of the greater good? I ask from a very different place when I do that. So I want you now to ask yourself again on a 1 to 10 scale. Re-rank yourself. How do you feel now about asking, by taking yourself out of the formula, asking for the sake of those people who need you? Re-rank yourself. And I'd like to get a show of hands. How many moved up 1 point from their original score? Okay. How many moved up 2 points? Did anyone move up 3 points? Anyone 4 points? Anyone who moved higher, just shout out your score.
5, 6.
I love it. All right, so the last thing I want to ask you to put on that card, you know what's coming. When will you ask? When will you take, I'm not even going to ask you to ask, but when will you take the smallest step towards asking? Get on their calendar, further define what it is you would ask for. Maybe it's the person sitting next to you that you need to ask. And for those of you who might have been a 0, you don't feel you moved, I have 2 things to say. Number 1, as you know, in coaching and in training, there's a seed, a time-release seed that's been planted, and this may come to you later. And for those of you who got really close, but you're not sure, come see me later. Here's what I think happens when we do this. We increase our emotional intelligence, and I'm working off the EQI 2.0 model when I say this. In self-perception, we increase mission and purpose. In self-expression, we increase assertiveness. In interpersonal relationships, we amplify our empathy. We're already good at empathy, but get over there with them and feel for what they need. In decision-making, we stop, or we at least stall the emotional hijacking, and instead of being fear-driven, now we're mission-driven. And at the end, instead of in stress management, we now build resilience. So I have a closing thought to lead you with. That might take me a moment to get to. I want you to ask yourself, what would I do today if I were brave? What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believe, will the wind always fill up my sail? How far can I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would you take today if you were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today? Stand up if I were brave. Twice, sing this with me. We have 49 seconds. What step would I take today if I were brave? One more time. What step would I take today if I were brave? I want to thank you. This was the most difficult thing for me to do. And I totally believe that you are the people to go help your clients ask and be brave and take risk. So please go ask. Thank you so much. 8 seconds left. So do you have any questions?
Right. Any questions for Gail? We can take 2 questions. I see Doug in the back.
Doug.
I get it. That was totally hard to do. How did you find the guts to do it?
Well, I like to throw myself into the deep end of the pool and learn from there. When that email came out asking us, I don't know if you remember, but I think it didn't say when we had to reply by. So I wrote back, when do we need to reply by? And Guy wrote back, today at 5. So there's a little of that, you know, your hand on the doorknob with the therapist. It's like you get the courage up because there's no time to ask, you know. So that was part of it. This is a topic I've spoken on before. I totally made it up that really, seriously, none of you had trouble asking. And then I said, okay, well, at least it's probably true, but if it was for your clients, okay, I got over that hurdle. And Guy said to me, is Guy still in the room?
He's over there. To your left.
Guy wrote me back and he said, it's your peeps. Well, that actually was the problem. And he also, yes, you gave me till midnight, but I got it in by 9. So it's my second cam. Last year I came for the first time, and I still have feelings that I don't belong in this room. I feel a lack of mastery. So I just said, okay, let's just commit. I'm on the program. I have some supporters in the room. I did that. Freddie agreed to, I asked him at lunch, what can I do to sing? Because that I would have, if I had help, I would have started a much higher key. But he helped me. I asked for some eye contact with a couple key people. And Eric gave me the perfect opportunity to tell my group that I have a fear. The bigger the audience, the more I make up about it. And so I used one of my suggestions, and that was to have you guys all breathe with me. And my legs have been shaking the whole time I'm standing here. And at one point, because I've rehearsed this a few times, not word by word, but at one point I said, oh shit, I'm actually doing it. And then yeah. And also I will tell you that I've been doing meditation using a program, a guided meditation that I love called GetSomeHeadspace.com. And it has helped me because I could have just fainted for you. But I brought myself back to center. Stay on the, I got connected to my passion. Any other questions?
One more, if there is one. Anyone? I think you already took 2 or 3 on that. Okay.
Maybe.
Thank you. Way to go.